Coach Tom Asbury is back at Pepperdine. Now, Coach, you spent 15 years here, then went on to coach at Alabama as well as Kansas State. But throughout your career, what would you say has been the role played by this institution?
Well, I spent 15 years here in the coaching profession. I don't think you can ever really anticipate spending anywhere for 15 years. So obviously, Pepperdine's got a real special place in my heart. It's a great institution. We've got great academics, the mission of the university and the Christian beliefs, fantastic. Obviously a great setting, wonderful setting, great place to recruit to. And we had really great quality athletes, and that's the thing that kept me here all that time. Again, I would have never expected to be here more than probably 3, 4, 5 years at the most, and ended up here 15 years, and probably the best 15 years of my life. I still consider California home.
You're now all settled in here in Malibu. You've got your coaching staff, you've got your team. Looking back, how would you describe these last few months?
Well, the last few months have been hectic, clearly, and basically replacing an entire new team has been a bit of an issue. You know, I've gone several places and started programs, so that part of it wasn't terribly unusual or unaccustomed to doing. And certainly having been here previously, as was mentioned, you know, I know a lot of the things to expect, a lot of the people, and so that part of it wasn't particularly difficult. Just kind of making sure that I hired the right staff. I got a great staff, basically all Pepperdine roots and establishment of people who had played here and coached here and worked here, so that part of it was great, and we think we've recruited a really good class our first year.
Half a year ago, you had resolved to go into real estate, you had your career in Arizona, now here you are, back at Pepperdine and back on the court. What went into that decision to come back into coaching?
Well, you know, and like you say, I had basically retired from coaching and gone into real estate in the Tucson area, and when this job opportunity came up, and you know, Coach Watson and Andy Benton, they gave me an opportunity to come here and try to re-energize and rejuvenate this wonderful program that truthfully hasn't been as wonderful as anybody would like to have seen it in the last few years. So our main mission is to get the credibility back, build the infrastructure, get the kind of student athletes here at Pepperdine that will represent the institution properly, and certainly to win games. Our job is to win games and to get the program back and competitive and get to the upper echelons of the conference, and we're not sure how quickly we can do that. We don't really necessarily look for a quick fix, but we do want to get this program back to where it was when I left here in 1994, and that was on top.
When we talked a few months ago, you were focused on building a strong foundation and bumping up the Waves defense. Now that you've had some time with your team, how do you feel that plan's going into motion?
Well, you know, one of the advantages to not having a lot of returning players is that you don't have to break a lot of really bad habits. And we have a lot of brand new kids, and they're all coming in and they're experiencing our system from the very start. And we've not started official practice, but we're working in individual groups with them right now. So we're starting to build a mindset of it, making sure they understand the priority and the necessity of playing defense and rebounding, because that'll keep you in a lot of games right there. You know, we're not going to be a real efficient offensive team to start out with, simply because we're going to be so young. But we're going to need to be able to guard people and everybody rebound their position and understand the importance of it. And then October 17th, we'll start to be putting in the specifics of it. Now it's just building a mentality and a mindset and a want to.
Right after you were hired last year, I remember seeing you out at men's volleyball matches supporting Marv Dunphy and his team. How important is it here at Pepperdine for coaches to support other coaches and teams?
Well, it was real easy for me when I came back, because the coaches are all really good friends of mine. You know, I've known Steve Rodriguez, and obviously Marv and Nina Gualberto. I've known most of the coaches here for a long time, and so it's real easy for me because I have a personal friendship with them. Now, having said that, I would still do it even if I didn't know these people, but because I think it is important. In an institution like Pepperdine, with not any bigger student body than we have, it's important that the athletes and the coaches support each other. It's just crucial, because we need every fan we can get in those seats in there, and for every sport. So for me, it's just kind of a logical progression to do. You know, when I was at Alabama, you know, obviously everybody would go to the football games, but same thing at Kansas State. But, you know, here we've got to support ourselves. We've got to go to everybody's activities and sports. I talked to the Riptide group on a couple of occasions and try to make sure that we get their support. The student support is crucial. I mean, obviously, we want every fan in there, but I've always said, for every 2 fans, all you need is 1 student to replace 2 normal fans, just because of their noise and their energy and enthusiasm. So, it's really this is a hard building to play in if it's full. If it's not full, and it's really, truthfully, it's that way most places. If the building's full, it's a difficult place to play. If it's not full, then it's just kind of not much of a home court advantage. People can come in and kind of cruise through and get a win and steal, and that's what we used to do on the road. I mean, we won 25 straight conference road games at one period, as our guys just were mentally tough, and they would go into buildings that maybe weren't quite full, and even the ones that were, we were mentally tough to know and understand what it takes to win on the road.
Thinking about this upcoming season, what is one goal that really comes to mind?
It's going to be interesting because I don't know that I've ever had a team this young, and I would say that probably our biggest challenge is to make sure that we don't give our players paralysis of analysis, is that we just don't overcoach them and don't try to teach them too much in too short a period of time. Now, having said that, we've got a very bright group, so we're going to challenge them and we're going to ask them to absorb an awful lot of information, but we have to be careful that we don't give them too much information. But candidly, that's what's really going to be fun about this team. The expectations aren't necessarily for us to win a conference championship, even though we want to do as well as we can, clearly. But we're building the foundation and building this program to where I think by the end of the year we should be a really solid team, and every year from then on we should be very competitive.
And what is it that Waves fans have to look forward to this season in Firestone and on the road?
Well, I think they're going to enjoy this team. I think they're going to enjoy the kids. I think they're going to get to know the kids as individuals and as people, and I think that they're going to understand how hard they play and how much they want to win and how much they bought into the Pepperdine philosophy and have gotten in concert with their coaches. And I think it's going to be a really fun group of kids to watch. I think it'll be an exciting team. We're going to make a lot of mistakes. We're going to throw the ball around a lot, but I think the fans will feel our energy.